Hello, my name is Serrano Kikbaldi, and welcome to the Texas Justice Review, where we review judges that are on the bench and the ones that are looking to run for office. I'm going to try to do this video in one shot because I don't have the time. It's an election season, and yesterday was the first day of voting. And people have been asking me which judges do, but this particular judge. Her name is Kim Cook. You all know her. She's trying to play the Democratic Party for a fool. And yes, it starts off this way. Let me tell you what her story is. I'm going to introduce her to her Vonda Bailey, who is a judge, her husband, and another person, and how dangerous it is for minorities for her to be elected a judge into the Court of Appeals. So my run-in with this judge has been, in the beginning, okay, I didn't know much about her, and one of the things I do as a veteran publisher is I investigate judges, I look into their past. I didn't look into her past, and boy, what a disappointment she turned out to be. So let me tell you my run-in with her, and then I'll tell you other people's running with her, and why you should never vote for her. First of all, I'm going to start off with a complaint about her. So, no, because I have to issue a law. I have to talk about a law after that bars her from being a judge, and allegedly barred her, but I have to investigate that more. So here's what happened. These two judges were in trouble with me. This is Judge Wheelers, and the other guy will be Michael Snipes. So Michael Snipes was a judge during the political reign of Faith Johnson in the prosecutor's office, and Ray Wheelers is the Republican that is appointed by Greg Abbott. So what happened to Kim Cook here is that Kim Cook ran for office against the lady you see down here, which is Vonda Bailey, I think, yes. And so she lost the family court case position to her. So she's kind of like a renegade judge at this point. And so this white guy you see here, he's Ray Wheelers. He's appointed over the associate judges by Greg Abbott. And this other guy that you see here, his name is Michael Snipes. He worked in the prosecutor's office and was, according to other minorities, was horrible to them and denied them justice when they came to complain to him that other white judges, such as Melissa Bellin, was lying and having people manipulate documents and things like that. It went to him. This was a minority woman. And he did not want to prosecute, even though the evidence was criminal and wrong and incorrect. So he came from the prosecutor's office when the Democrats took over, and they fired 12 Republicans, and they gave him a walk. And this guy is by Abbott. So what happened was he came to a family court case that I was in. And we have 7 women judges in family court. Family court in Dallas does not want men. Out of the 7 women, 6 happens to be black minority women in family court, because they also didn't want these white rule because maybe there was favoritism going on. So somehow the white judge opens up the back door, brings him in so he can make some money, Michael Snipes here. So he became a judge because of Ray Wheelers. He can appoint the associate judge. So let's get back to Kim, because I don't want to stray from the story too much. So Kim here, I filed a motion to recuse these two because they were breaking the law. Now, I've been a publisher for up to 2 decades. I've published and I've investigated and I've sat in many courtrooms listening to laws and examining all the different laws that people have to, judges rule on if they're all correct or not. So Kim got this case. And there's nowhere on the docket. I looked at the docket all through. There's nothing in the docket that says she was going to be on the case. So I get this email from her. Hi, my name is Kim Cooks. I was assigned, but didn't say who assigned her. And this is where the corruption comes in. Didn't say who was to hear the recusal hearing of Judge Snipes and Judge Wheelers. So it's important that I tell you, set you up a foundation for who these guys were. The hearing is scheduled for April 12th, right? And so she's an associate judge now. By whom? Ray Wheelers. He's the boss. He runs all the courts, right? So he appoints her, he appoints the other guy that I just show you, Michael Snipes, to the position. So what happens is the recusal, I dragged Ray Wheelers into the recusal because he's responsible for the habits of this guy or the illegal act of this guy. So if I'm reporting it to you, you have a responsibility to remove him. He didn't remove him. And the abuse of the law continued. And so I filed against recusing both of them. Kim shows up on the scene. And we go to court. Now, I may be a minority. And it is true that we're south of the Mason-Dixon line. And people look at the color of your skin and they think you're stupid. It's just a fact. And so she comes into the courtroom. And the recusal was extensive. It was very well written about the crime, the criminal acts. Because as a judge, if you make a mistake or misinterpretation of the law, you have immunity. Because it's a mistake, that's for the appeals court. But then when you have a willful, when you knowingly, purposefully, and willfully use the law to hurt somebody in a biased state and prejudiced state, it is illegal. When you abuse your office, it's official misconduct. So she didn't come on the case. These are criminal charges. These are criminal charges that were filed against Ray Wheelers and Michael Snipes for abuse of office, which is 39.02, official oppression, 39.03, and misuse of office, 39.04. These are laws that when judges misuse their office, they are criminally charged. They're not made up stuff. So this was an abuse of their office. Because I pissed off Michael Snipes is what I did. I pissed him off because I told him, stop dragging me back into court when you were already there yesterday. And he get pissed off and he was just using everything to just slam me down, strip me of everything that I had. So I caught him. I caught him basically breaking the law. As a publisher, I know what I'm doing. I publish these stories. She comes on the case and they gave it to her. Who gives it to her? Ray Wheelers. Who is the person that I'm filing the recusal on? Ray Wheelers. Who hired her? Ray Wheelers, right? So she shows up, and I called the clerk before she shows up because it was about the 4th to the 14th. And I said, could you tell me who appointed Kim Cooks to this case? And they said, well, it's not on the docket, so we don't know. Well, who is responsible? And they told me Ray Wheelers appointed her to this case, and Ray Wheelers is the one who appoints jobs to her in different courts where she makes money. And I was, this can't be legal, this can't be right, but it was. So the clerk told me he appoints the judges, the associate judges. She is an associate judge, which means she makes an application, he accepts the application, okay, I'm going to start appointing you to certain cases. So the very person that he appoints to cases is the very person that he chose to sit on this case to rule and get him off of it. The purpose of the recusal was to get him off the case. I'm going to read a canon rule for you that the state is supposed to be watching these judges. And this is what it says, Texas Judicial Code of Conduct, number 2. It says, a judge shall comply with the law, not with your emotions, and should act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence. We're going to get to her in a second on that. With the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. I like saying that. And it says, a judge shall not allow any relationship to influence judicial conduct or judgment. She has a relationship with him. This is her boss. He gets her jobs. And now she's sitting on a case to recuse him and Michael Snipes. Michael Snipes also gets jobs from this guy. So this is the circle of corruption that we got so far, right? So I go to court. Half an hour. I just took the recusal that I filed. I'll give anybody the case number so you can read it. And it was very extensive how he abused his power. He got pissed off. And ever since he got pissed off, he was dismissing legal motions, things that was relevant to the law. He didn't want to follow the law. He was more personal and biased and threatening just because he got pissed off. And I told him he needs to recuse himself. Everything was personal. Personal attack. Remember they charged Donald Trump because they said it wasn't part of his office. It was a personal decision. Well, that's what happened here. And I'm talking to her. And she's just looking at me. I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship and you're having an argument with somebody or a disagreement with anybody, and you're talking to them and you see that they are forming or they already formed an answer. They're not listening to you. They already have an answer because they've made their mind up. And this is what I got from her on the bench. And I'm looking at her, and at some point I wanted to say, are you listening to me? Because it seems like you're not. I wanted to say that, and then somebody said you shouldn't have, and I did because I wanted to be respectful of the law despite the corruption and the misbehaving of the law. And so then she goes to me, are you finished? And then it hit me. This woman already made her mind up to protect him, her boss, and to protect Michael Snipes, her co-associate judge. And I just shook my head, and I pulled out this, and I said, did you know that it is illegal for Michael Snipes to be on this case for this reason? So here is, and I added this. This is Michael Snipes, who the whole case is surrounding. This is his State Bar Association application, and this is the law he practiced. Government law, criminal government administration, litigation, commercial, military, appeal, criminal. That's all the law that Michael Snipes, let's bring his face up here. That's all the law he practices. So here's the code that I showed her, and I said, Kim, I'm judge. You know, it says in Government Code 74.055, it is written, a judge has to develop a substantial experience in the judge's area of specialty in order for him to be on that case. He's not a family court judge. This Judge Brown just opened up a courtroom and he snuck him inside so he can make some money. She didn't care. Now this relates to list of retired and former judges subject to assignment. He can only be assigned to family court if he has a specialty in that area. You know what she did? She just went over her head because she made her mind up before she went in there. And it's important that you keep this because I'm going to show you some videos in a second. So she comes down and she just said, okay, motion to remove Snipes, denied. Motion to remove Wheeler, denied. Oh my gosh. Did I not see this? And I saw her corruption. I saw her, the influence over her. She is controlled by these two white guys. And there's a minority pleading with her that, he's stripping me of all the rights that I have, including all the marital money and property, which is because he got pissed off at me and he started this pissing contest with me, excuse my language. He just took everything and gave it to the other side. Everything. I mean, everything. And the law in Dallas is 50-50. Same judge that said this. She can go ahead and have sex with whomever she wants to have sex with. Kim comes on the same scene and she endorses that. And this woman is in church pretending to be a Christian. And this judge is telling me, as a Christian man, and I am a devout Christian, and not just a simple Christian, that if my spouse went up and had sex with all these men, it doesn't matter. It's Texas law. But the 50-50 split where $40,000 was given to attorney's fee and I got zero, $800, and a lot of money was given to her and zero to me. And I'm trying to tell her this. There's abuse. There is misconduct. There is criminal mischief going on here. She didn't care because these are her buddies. She's serving at the altar of white supremacy. This is what she's doing. And she doesn't seem to care. You have a minority that is being abused. And if you read the recusal, it's like a 5-page recusal with evidence. You will see that these two white guys is looking at a minority, a white spouse, a white lawyer, and it's just punishment going on. But she didn't care. She didn't care about that. She cared about protecting the white ruling class. She's serving at the altar. She's looking at the laws that says they are supposed to be following. And I read the judicial code of conduct. She has to follow the law. She's not following the law. She's following favor. Now let me get to her, and I'll get to the two videos. So Kim herself is, not only is Michael Snipes illegal in the position because he had to be specialized in that field, Kim also was reprimanded by the state. This is her reprimand, right? And her reprimand, CJC NOS case number is 18-0819, and 18-0877. So she was caught, guess what? She was reprimanded for helping and aiding another judge. And the Judicial Code of Conduct get a hold of her from the state, and they reprimanded her for helping and aiding another judge. And here she is doing it again. And so if you're voting, be very careful. And, oh, by the way, I just want to drop this in the middle of here. The Democratic Party doesn't want Kim. I'm going to show you who they wanted. They wanted Corey Carlisle. So before she won the primary, here is Corey Carlisle. This is the Democrat sending out something called Free Democrat Event, Texas Justice Tour. I go to the Texas Justice Tour. It's for Democrats, but I'm a minority, so I have to see who's going to support my side. This is Corey Carlisle. They wanted him. She's not on this flyer. Democrats do not want her. The Democratic judges leadership do not want her. They were pushing Corey Carlisle over her, and unfortunately, voters gave her the win. So I go to these judges judges Texas Justice Tour. Here's another one. She's not here. She's not invited. She's not even there with the other judges. And here is another one. Texas Justice Tour for all the Democratic judges. They did not want her. She's not here. These are all the judges and politicians, and here is a commissioner, Democrat. Here is the sheriff. They don't want her. Okay? So, and here is, this is another big event where they specifically brought up 14 judges they want to see in office. All right? I don't know how big I can make this, but here, this is, I was in this event. That's me right here with a camera. Somebody took this shot from there. These are 14 judges that they're putting up to run against the Republicans and take the seats. Kim is not invited to this Democratic huge event of 14 judges, including the district attorney and other important people. They do not want her in that seat. They don't get along with her. And for this reason, she serves at the altar of white supremacy. And that's what they're looking at. She serves the Republicans. She's looking for opportunity. She's running over playing to the black culture and not the Asian culture because there's not enough votes there. So, we're 17 minutes in, and this is what she does. She serves white supremacy, and she's protected them, instead of looking at the case in a minority and following the law, because she's already illegal in the position. So let me read that law that says she's illegal in the position. So the law that says Michael Snipes is not supposed to be in that position that she protected also says that if a judge wants to be an associate judge, the judge has never been publicly reprimanded or censured by the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. So she is illegally, on April 14th, in a position that the law says she cannot be in because she was reprimanded by the state. So she's illegal in a position, putting an illegal judge back in a position so she can save face with her boss, Ray Wheelers. Okay? This is what you're voting for? This is what you're putting into office? This doesn't make sense. So, let's get to some of these videos. This is Judge Wanda Bailey, the one that beat her out. Before we get to her, I want to get to this lady here. And we're going to put her to speak first.
That she too has to leave her home to go to foster care. Imagine that when she asks why, you have no logical explanation to give her, because you too don't know why. This was the reality that I faced at the hands of Judge Kim Cooks when I was in her court for what was supposed to be a simple modification of a court order. During my time in Kim Cook's court, I was dating the father of her child, with whom she also had an ongoing custody case with, not to mention she was in violation of. My case had been successfully moved out of her court, but when she found out about it, because she wanted to preside over my case, obviously, she had it moved back into her court, which was very unethical, because she wanted to preside over my case. While going through this case, one of the most egregious things that I recall, which to this day still causes detriment with my child from a mental well-being perspective. From the bench, she instructed the opposing counsel to file enforcement against me. Mind you, there was no requested relief on file or anything of that nature for her to have done that. Kim Cooks was practicing law from the bench by instructing the opposing attorney what to write in the enforcement and how to write it in the enforcement, so as in her words, she could put me in jail for 6 months and my daughter in foster care. Kim Cooks refused to be recused off of my case, and fortunately for me, she was involuntarily recused after a couple of months. Therefore, she was no longer the presiding judge over my case.
Okay, I don't know what happens to that, but if you're influencing an attorney to respond and you're giving advice to an attorney, that's a criminal act. A lot of people don't know the criminal act that is applicable to any politicians is applicable to the judges. And that's what Texas Justice Review wants to do. We want to make sure that these complaints are filed when she doesn't realize that it was a criminal act to advise another judge to go after you. It's a criminal act to pull a case back just so that you can obstruct justice. These are criminal acts. So let's play this is the husband of the child, and she's trying to, he's got some words to say. Let's see what he has to say. I guess he has nothing to say. There we go. We're going to get to Judge Wanda Bailey. No, don't do that. I guess there's too many clicking going on. Let's find out if we can get to Judge Wanda Bailey. Because she's got some, let's see what she has to say.
Be blunt and say what it is. Stop letting these people lie to y'all. Like legit lying.
In the state of Texas, as well as every other state, in the whole United States, there's no such thing as a custody battle with an adult grown child. There's also no such thing as a court order visitation with an adult grown child. I have an adult grown child.
Y'all, I had to come home and get comfortable for this one. Go ahead and get your tea, your water, your cocktail, whatever you're in the mood for this good day. Go ahead and get it because we're about to get into it. Okay, y'all saw that, right? So in my profession, this is what we would call a half-truth. This is where you take some information that could be a little truthful. You weave in some more information that is all lies, and then you sprinkle nonsense on top of it. Do y'all remember in elementary school when you would get these reading comprehension passages to read, and you would have all this information and it has you going down one track, and then something comes in and completely throws you off? That's called a red herring. In that clip that you saw, the adult child is the red herring. It's the red herring because it's misleading. Under Texas law, if a parent violated a court order before a child became an adult, the other parent has the right to go to court and ask the court to hold that other parent in contempt for violating that court order up to 2 years after that child has become an adult. But this the lady asking for your vote, but she playing in your face. But see, you all have me, and you know I'm going to give you the real. It's one of two things here. Either one, she's misleading you, or two, she don't know the law. All right, I've already given you all the real, but I want to hear back from you. Leave in the comments your thoughts, suggestions, questions.
Okay, that was Judge Wanda Bailey, who beat up Kim Brown in the last election to take the family court. So because she knows a little more about family court than we do, so she's explaining to you that Kim Brown is a liar, basically. So I was trying to get this video with the father who was explaining how she did something she shouldn't have done. She was untruthful, but it's not coming up. But anyway, this is father alienated from his son by mom who is a sitting judge. So I think what Judge Wanda Bailey just did was corrected some incorrect information that she was giving about her husband and the child in custody. And she went along and she just corrected her for not telling the truth. So this is who you're voting for. The black community does not want her as a whole. I mean, the people that know her doesn't want her because they know that she's corrupted. I, as a publisher in a newspaper in Paterson, New Jersey, 92% minorities, covering judges, politicians, I don't want her to ever be a judge, and here is why. Because I would have to follow her cases and say, I told you so. All these black folks are telling you no. Minorities are telling you no. Do not vote for her. She's an opportunist. She's a narcissistic. If I went on a Facebook page, I wanted to pull up a Facebook page here today. I didn't because there's another judge that I'm supporting that she keeps taking pictures with. And I don't want you to see that judge because I want that judge, hopefully she would win. And she's using that judge because she wants to use the black community. Everybody is black when the election season comes along, but everything else when there isn't. This judge is a fraud. This judge is a liar. This judge, and I hate to use these words on it, but she's a lawyer who became a judge. And if you're going to vote for her, she shouldn't be reprimanded by the state for helping a judge and then came back again and signed off these recusals to protect these judges when she should have said, wait a second, Michael Snipes is illegal in that position, so I can't let him go back on that thing. The abuse that this person has suffered, the criminal charges that is against him, I don't see a reason to put him back on this case because he's doing things against the law, and the state judicial code of conduct tells me that a judge shall comply with the law and be impartial, and the judge shall not allow any relationship to influence judicial conduct and judgment. And she's allowing the relationship, she is allowing the friendship, she's allowing the fact that she's getting money from Ray Wheelers to help him back with the case. She's going after her ex, she's lying, allegedly lying against him. But that's why I brought in Vonda Bailey, so she can correct it. And Vonda Bailey is a family court judge, so it would take a family court judge to go after a family court judge, and that's why I think her comments were necessary. But to have Michael Snipes, who is not even on the state bar as a family court judge, to be on a family court case brutalizing somebody, and you can clearly see that he's doing it, especially a minority, and you allow this to happen, and now you want to be voted into office into the appellate court. By the way, the case that she sat on was basically an appeal, and she protected the white ruling class, the white ruling judges. And that one is a Republican. So she is bowing to their altar. And now she wants you to come over to the black community and say, hey, vote for me. I'm a great judge. And look at me. I smile and I dress nice and I hug and kiss everybody. No. This judge is dangerous. This woman is dangerous. If you put in the appeals court, a lot of cases, a lot of people are going to grieve. A lot of people are going to suffer. A lot of people are going to hurt, and especially minorities, because she has no heart for minorities. And that's why the husband and Judge Bailey and the other woman who I played for you before, she also came up and these are minorities. These are not white folks. These are minorities, just like you and I. And she wants our vote. And the Democratic Party does not want her. So stop saying you're a Democrat and they want you. Look at the events. I go to these events. Texas events that puts off the judges. She is not invited. They don't want her. And you shouldn't want her either. So please, if you see her signs, I know who's paying for it. Here's the 13 judges they wanted. She is not invited to this. I'm right there in the middle, and I'm taking photographs and I'm videotaping, and here's everybody's flyers on the table. She's not there. They don't want her. Okay? The only reason they want her is because, maybe they want to have her on a card, but she's not on the card that they're sending out. So I'm telling you, if you vote for her, she's a danger to the black and minority community. She serves at the altar of white supremacy. She is bought and paid for by the other judges who gives her job in the associate position. And that is my opinion. So, I needed to put this out. It's a little longer than I wanted to, but if you want to, skip through it, that's fine. But this is a dangerous person to put on the appellate court for minorities and blacks. You've seen the video. People are opposing her. Even the Democrats doesn't want her. So skip her. It's better to have the other side there. At least you know what you're getting. At least you know what's going on. And at least you know who to, point the finger to if they did something wrong. There are 13 judges. 3 goes in a case and it goes to 13. Then you have a chief judge. You don't need her there. She can't even do a simple appeal. And I sat in that courtroom watching this woman doing that. And everything law, and I've showed you today, has been based on law. This is the state law. This is the criminal law. Everything is based on law. And this is how I judge the judges when I write my news. And I judge her today. And I'm telling you, she's no good. This is Serrano Keith Baldio, Texas Justice Review. Thanks for watching. And thanks for trusting. And bye for now.